Oh, it is hot. So it has been a while since I've made a sneaker video. I've mainly been focusing on vintage, so I haven't been making a whole lot of sneaker videos, but I was making a whole lot of vintage videos if you're interested. But since the sneaker game has kind of plateaued a little bit, I have been able to buy sneakers and I've actually been getting into some new stuff. So without further ado, let's get into my favorite purchases of 2025. First up, we have this pair of vintage Oakley Bonesaw boots. This is a very kind of out of sorts style of boot or shoe for me. I've been looking into like the Bonesaw, I believe it's like the Nail and Saw 2000 Oakley boots for a while. They do have this mid-top version and they do have a low-top version. Now, I'm not sure if any of these released in North America. I'm pretty sure they did, but most of the ones I usually have found so far either are in Asia or Europe. Also, usually when I find these on Grailed or like eBay or something like that, they're either not my size or they are my size and they're either super expensive or they are like cooked. Because usually what happens is the midsole is a super thick rubber, and a lot of the times the midsole right here, kind of where you start to step, will start to split on these ones. Getting into the material, the upper is this very nice kind of nubuck suede. You got some of this mesh paneling on the front, metal eye stays. You got this super cool like skull and crossbone tab on the front of the tongue. The midsole is, like I said, a super heavy rubber. These boots are actually a lot heavier than I thought they would be. I took them out of the box and I was very surprised by how kind of heavy they were. They are very comfortable. I've worn these a few times out and about. Definitely gonna be more of a winter boot. In the summer, my feet were sweating, but I definitely can't wait to get some wear out of these during the winter time. Super excited. So let us move on. It has been a great feeling being able to go into Foot Locker and actually obtain a pair of shoes that you want. These are the Jordan 1 UNCs Reimagine. Almost dropped them. Hold on. Yes, here we have the Jordan 1 Reimagine UNCs. Now, I don't know how I'm gonna wear them, but I know I'm gonna wear them because I love the Reimagine Chicago's, and I believe they're not in this, but I do have the Reimagine Chicago's. I bought those last year, and I love how those look, and I love how these look. I love kind of how the distressing on the collar, the toe, the yellowing on the midsole, that kind of scuffed look on the outsole. It's just a beautiful silhouette and a beautiful colorway, but nonetheless, I do have them. I walked into Foot Locker while I was at the mall. They were sitting there. I called up my girl and I was like, I gotta get them. She yelled at me for like 5 minutes, but it's whatever because I got them. Now, you could probably recognize this box because this was the hottest shoe in 2015. 18-year-old me is going crazy because when these first came out, I could not obtain these. I didn't have the means to go camp out for them, nor was I going to be allowed to anyways. And then when I finally kind of like was picking up my sneaker game, had already become unattainable. These were like, I don't know if those pairs are still in the thousands, but I'd have to double check. But either way, I'm just glad I have a pair of Shatter Backwards now because my collection for the OG colorways, or like kind of like the Grail colorways, is now complete. So now this next shoe, I am actually super surprised that I got. If you can see the box, you probably already know what these are. At one point, there was only 72 pairs of them, and now there's quite a bit of pairs. And it is the Jordan 4 Undefeated. So as you can see, in true sneakerhead fashion, I went ahead and took my Undefeated 4s and I put the orange laces on them, and I turned the Jumpman tab down upside down on this one. So, you know, I'm him. I am Himothy. I'm the sneakerhead god. I'm just no, I'm not. Don't quote me on that, because that's not even close to true. I sold most of my collection a long time ago. Bills and life. So this is a shoe I was wholeheartedly not even considering being able to get these. This is probably one of the hypest shoes in most recent memory. Yeah, I hit on these on, I believe it was the Undefeated website. I was hoping to get EA, at least for the sneakers drop. Didn't get EA. But for the most part, the people who put in for the raffles, from what I saw, got this shoe. Unless you just have terrible luck or you didn't get EA, I'm pretty sure anybody who wanted this shoe probably got this shoe. Either way, I got my pair. I'm not complaining. Resale on these is, I think, in the 400 still, maybe threes. So it's not super crazy. Another great shoe that'll never leave the collection. So next up is a shoe that's also out of my kind of element or comfort zone, if you will. It is a New Balance, and it is the, if I can take the lid off, these are the Joe Freshgoods New Balance 610 Little Swamps. Now, here's a shoe that I'm not entirely sure will stay in my collection for that long. I want it to, but I'm not sure. When I got these, they were well below retail. I believe these were on GOAT at one point when I got them for like $150. And I know I could wear these to go hiking. I know that, and I'm probably gonna end up doing that and just fucking destroying these things. Getting into the shoe, the materials on these are crazy, as is with every New Balance that I've come across. Upper orange part is a nice Nubuck suede, and that green mesh right there is super nice as well. And then you got the rope laces with the metal aglets, and then you got this super durable outsole. And all around, this shoe is just super comfortable and breathable. I am going on a hike tomorrow, so I might try these out and see how they work. Alrighty, now the last shoe is definitely by far, I would say the banger of the group, to be honest. This was probably the banger. Well, I would say second tier banger. First or second tier banger. It's top two banger of the bunch. It's top two. But it's not the two, but it's not the one. I don't know. It's top two for me, though. So the next shoe I have for you is the Jordan Union 1s in the Chicago Shadow colorway. So, as you can see here, we got the Jordan 1 Unions Shadow and Chicago colorway. If you're familiar with the Jordan 1 Union collab, you know that this series right here is probably the most sought after series of their collaborations. The OG pairs were the Bread pair and the Storm Blue pair. Yeah, the Bread pair and the Storm Blue pair. I don't know why they didn't drop this pair after those ones, but they went on a slew of random ass colorways, and then finally, when the hype all died down, that's when they finally came out with these. I actually hit on these on, I believe it was the Union app. No, I hit on these on sneakers, actually. I lied to you. I hit on these on sneakers, which I was thoroughly surprised because I hadn't hit on anything in a very long time. And I actually believe this was the first shoe that made me kind of come back into sneakers a little bit because I actually hit on this. This was the first shoe. Now, I would love to complete the set for this, but unfortunately, the OG pairs are still super expensive. Unless I win the $1 billion Powerball, I'm not willing to dish out that kind of money because I just don't wear shoes enough all that often anymore. And that's funny to say because I still buy shoes. But either way, my only gripe with this shoe is that for the shadow collar part, they didn't make the black parts leather. They made them a Nubuck suede. But other than that, the materials on these are fucking crazy. The tumble leather is super soft and buttery. The aged midsole, I love an aged midsole. People hate that PP sole shit, but dude, my God, PP on my soles, dude. PP on my soles. I want my shits piss yellow. So that is going to do it for this video. Those have been my recent pickups. I also have a new pickup, a new member to the family. This is Ramsey after Gordon Ramsay. Say hello to the people. But yeah, he's been legit checking all my sneakers for me, making sure they're all good. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna do a video also on kind of like my favorite vintage pickups of this year. I've definitely been picking up some heat for some steals, and you know, my vintage collection is just going crazy. But if you're also interested in vintage, please check out my Depop. I will have that listed down in the description. Hopefully I can start making some sneaker videos again and hopefully get back into that realm. But until further notice, it's probably just gonna be vintage stuff again, or yeah, probably just vintage stuff again. And I do a vlog series of me going out and sourcing. So I'm gonna try to get back into that. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.